Madden.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access post-game show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay. Get notifications from StreamYard, random stream. Absolutely love that. Nothing better than that, just flashing across your screen. But anyway, the Packers drop a tough one. This was a barn burner too, boys. Let me tell you, 16-3. I don't know how many innings did it go. I can't even remember how many innings we played there. But nonetheless, Clayton Tune, he was tuned up, 6 of 11 for 34 yards passing, was sacked 4 times for a loss of 41 yards. So that would
he made it out alive, though. He made it out alive.
He did make it out alive. That would put your net team passing yardage, if my calculations are correct. Carry the 3. We were -7 yards in the passing game today.
Not bad.
Now, people see that and go, "Whoa, what this?" You could tell they were keeping everything as vanilla as possible. That's why earlier in the week, talked about it being this going to be like a preseason game, boys. They do not want to show anything. Now, think about it from other teams' perspectives. When they go watch the tape, they can't go to this game and watch the tape. You typically go a team's last 4 games, right, in previous 2 head-to-head matchups. So let's say you do end up playing the Bears. We'll give you the update on all that stuff here in a little bit. Let's say you go and play the Bears. The Bears will go to their last two head-to-head matchups this year, and they'll probably have to go back, not this game, not the previous game, but the game before that to see Jordan Love tape, right? So probably watch those 4 games leading up. Now, Matt LaFleur, obviously, Jordan Love knows this offense in and out, so everything's on the table. You got to make a decision. All right. Do we feel like that stuff is kind of simmered down now and teams aren't going to be looking for it? Is that what they're going to be keyed in on it? Do you completely flip the script in terms of the game plan? All those things are going to come into play. So I understand why they called the game the way they did. It's a long way of saying that, but that's how I feel about the game. Again, you dropped this 16-3. Let's go around the horn with it real quick, and then we will talk about some key injuries that occurred as well. Go ahead, Emilio. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, that's like me when I'm playing as Army Clay, in college football, and it's just hand that thing off left and right. I'll take the one time I try to throw a pass, get a sack.
Same as me, man. On casual breakthrough on Battlefield 6, just lay back with the sniper rifle, and your teammates are coming over, cussing you out and everything. Like, why ain't you helping us, bro? I'm trying to get my kill to death up. I'm trying to do my thing.
I'm trying to level up guns here, man. You gotta just leave me alone.
Work with me here, man. Work with
me. No, that's it. Cool to see, some of those guys out there at Home Depot and all that. You get to see Hopper. Sorrell was kind of cutting it up. So, I mean, just good to kind of get some film on these guys. Just move on. Past week 18, it's playoff time, baby.
Yeah, we got to – well, go ahead, Tim, with your initial thoughts, and we'll get to Josh Martin's super chat.
I was going to say I agree. I thought KT Oladapo looked pretty good in our first real look at him kind of playing in that secondary. I think he was a glimmering, shining ray of light of hope in this game today. And then Barron Sorrell, too, particularly against the run. I thought Barron Sorrell looked really good. And Nas Stackhouse played good in the middle a few times. He put some nice tape together. So it's not all doom and gloom, other than the fact that we just had to go and get Javon Bullard hurt and Bo Melton hurt in this game. But other than that, it's not all bad, right? And we knew that, the goal was the big victory would have been getting out of here healthy. And it looks like we lost that battle as well as the game today. So tough on both sides of the coin, but there were some bright spots, especially on the defensive side of the ball today. I think, holding them to 1 touchdown was pretty good. Those guys played pretty well today.
Definitely. And Rob Demoski did tweet out a little bit of an update, I guess you could say, with Javon Bullard. I don't think it's horrible news, but you guys know Javon Bullard was on the turf holding his knee, holding his leg. They went to a commercial break, took him a little while to get him off the field, but it sounded like he did walk off with help, I believe, or he walked off on his own. But Rob Demovsky's original tweet said Javon Bullard's slow to get off the field, one of the few guys playing today that you can't afford to lose. And then he quote tweeted that and said later with a little bit of an update, Bullard is out of the injury tent and has his helmet in hand. Can't imagine they'd put him back in there, though. Probably shouldn't have been in there in the first place. So you got a portion of the fan base that thinks, what are we doing? Sitting the starters. You should try to win this game as you go into the playoffs and create momentum. And then obviously there's people like Rob and others that are like, why was he even playing? I'm on that side personally.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
we saw Jayden Reed out there for a few snaps, and I started getting nervous too. Like,
yeah,
you know,
and it truly tells you, Tim, in my opinion, that answers the question of what we've said all year in terms of Bo Melton. Why is he getting these meaningful snaps coming down the stretch? He is the backup F, right?
Yep.
Pretty much established, I think, right? I think we would all – now, Dontavion Wicks out. You know, if he's in, maybe he's the established F. I don't know. But, again, when you see him go out and in such a meaningless game they put Jayden Reed in, that tells me that there's nobody else on the roster that can play F right now, right?
Yep.
So –
I have Reed for 8 snaps on the game.
Wow.
So it's like, and the other thing is you have a 53-man roster, 48 can only suit up. So at some point you're going to have to play guys that have been on the team. You know, it's, you know, our O-line's still in there. You still got D-line in there, all that stuff. So yeah, it sucks that Bo was out there and that happened. You know, hate that it happened to Bo too. But you just run out of bodies, I feel like, at some point.
Definitely.
Great play by Bo Melton, though, on the one he got hurt on was an incredible special teams play.
Yep.
Yeah. So, again, it sounds like it's positive news for Javon Bullard. Him having his helmet in hand would make you think that if they needed him to go back in, if they had another injury, then he could have popped back in the game, which tells me he's probably going to be good to go for next week. Hopefully. We'll keep our eye on that as we go through this game week for sure. Ed Madden said Bull came back on the field and was flexing his knee and smiling. Okay, that's great news then. I appreciate that update there, Ed. Thank you so much. And then the other injury that we were talking about with the F receiver, Bo Melton is questionable with a knee injury. He's one of only 3 receivers who played today. Any other 3 wide receiver sets would require Dobbs, Watson, or Reed. Okay, so obviously Reed ended up coming in place of him when Melton went out. So what I imagine they had today going in was probably Matthew Golden jumping back and forth from the X to the Z. Mm-hmm. And then when they were in 12 personnel sets, that type of thing, probably had him playing the X and probably had, the others kind of rotating in at the Z and all that. So that's kind of how I feel like it went. But let's get to the super chat real quick. Josh Martin, I think, Tim, you probably agree with this one. And again, we'll keep our eye on the Bo Melton and the Javon Bullard injuries as we move forward in the week. Josh Martin with the super chat. Morgan ain't it at left tackle. We're talking about Jordan Morgan, missed blocks and penalties. What's your all's thoughts on Jordan Morgan before I give my take? How do you guys feel about what he looked like out there? Tim, you used a reference that I thought was kind of funny, but I don't know if you want to say it on the air or not.
What, when we were talking before the show?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your call if you want to.
Oh, yeah. I said he played like a wet diaper. Yeah. No. Maybe that's maybe that's being a little harsh. Because to Emilio's point, he brought up a good point. We've asked Jordan Morgan to do everything on that O-line since we drafted him, and for the first time he gets a shot at left tackle, and surprisingly enough, he doesn't look great. I mean. Mm-hmm. Did we really expect him to just look like an all-pro right away?
Right. Pre-game, I was hoping it. Heard me. I'm like, man, I was excited about it. Like, finally, we'll get some meaningful reps, right, mm-hmm. and see what he looks like at least. So, yeah. But
it's tough. I mean, and really for anyone on that O-line, right? I mean, these are guys that haven't had a lot of reps where they were, other than maybe Anthony Belton, playing right guard. But you mentioned the protections, being able to call out protections, being able to communicate. That all plays into it. Your tight end, your 4th or 5th string tight end missing a chip and, leaving a blind side open. Those kind of things happen. So you can't really put everything all on Jordan Morgan, but yeah, he did not look great out there today.
Yeah, Tim, he was top 5 offensive player. Okay. But his grade at a 60.9. Yeah. So not terrible. I mean, just above average there. But his pass blocking 86 too. Looks like he had 18 of those snaps. Besides that one where he got cooked around the corner. Like you said, we've asked him to do everything. He's been at right tackle. You just give him one shot at left tackle. I just want to see him. I think he's developing. I'm excited for Morgan, but not a great game. Just keep your head down, keep moving.
Yep. And thank you for that super, Josh. Appreciate you. Greg Rice says he is no Travis Glover.
Come on now. I can't wait.
We've talked about this with you, not on the show too, Emilio. Is like, if Travis Glover comes out next training camp and he ends up being the next great gem of an offensive lineman that we're like, wow, where did this guy come from? He's really improved. It's going to be hilarious.
I'm going back to the first episode. I'm going to have to comb through all of our shows and find that one, but I'm telling you.
We're going to get a boost in the algorithm because Emilio's going to go back and watch so many hours of our show.
Absolutely. I'm going to be flying through it.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. So, with that being said, the injuries, that's, to me, was the most important information that came out of this game, obviously, was the fact that Bullard got hurt. Oh, crap. And now it sounds like not a big deal. Bo, I'm going to try to get an update by the time the show ends here, but that's kind of the most important information in my opinion. So, Baron Sorrell, right? To me, he looked good. He flashed. And I'm trying to think, Brenton Cox Jr., I know people got excited over the strip sack. I tweeted it out and everything, and obviously Baron Sorrell recovered that. Brenton Cox Jr. didn't do anything special on that play. It's awesome that he got in the sack column, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, it's literally the quarterback not knowing the NFL rules, tripping, falling down, and then not realizing, oh, yeah, this isn't college. I'm not down, right? So that's pretty much where the sack came from. But other than that, any other bright spots that you guys noticed maybe today that you thought, this young player looked good, that young player may have looked a little better than you thought?
Like I said, KT Oladapo. Yeah. He had that batted ball at the line. I thought he was doing good playing within the scheme. We saw Hafley going zone heavy there for a while, and I think Oladapo did a good job just staying on assignment. We saw a couple open field tackles. That's a good flash in my book for a young defensive player for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Emilio, he looks big. Does he not look like a bigger player when you see Oladapo on TV?
And they had him walking into the slot. You saw that, Clay, where he was kind of moving the linebackers back and forth, kind of adjusting. And it's not like he doesn't understand where the defense is at. He's been here for 2 years now. He's got the same kind of time and energy into it as Evan and Bull and everybody like that. So you see that, hey, he's got all that knowledge. It's just getting him the time out there on the field because they're already having a hard enough time. Hafley was trying to get Evan and Bull out there. So imagine getting that third safety in with X and all that. So glad he got a real good shot today to try to go after that. And we had, let's see, Oladapo was top 10. He was 9th with a 59-9, 66 snaps. Yeah, just snaps. So he's out there all game. Not bad for him. 72 pass rush, and then kind of, middle of the line, a little bit lower on everything else, but not bad.
I think you're right too about his body type, Clayton. He's a little bit of a, bigger safety, right? Almost like a tweener. You almost wonder if he could play a little stack backer in a pinch for you, for sure.
Yeah, like if you wanted to go to some kind of a hybrid front where you throw an extra DB in, right? Yep. You could mix and match there a little bit. And again, it's a very small sample size, but that's kind of
he looks comfortable playing in the box though. Like Emilio said, buzzing him down there.
Yeah,
it's comfortable.
Yeah, the only, like Coach said, the only one was that bad drop where it kind of slipped. He kind of had it in the basket and it sort of went through his hands. If he had that, get a pick on KT. Come on.
Yeah. And we got Chris here in the chat says Diggs did look like a big body out there. I thought Diggs looked fine. Made a couple good tackles. He looked pretty physical, right? We
got a snap count on him.
I do for you. 33 total snaps, top 2 on the defensive grades. He graded out a 76-3, 66-1 run defense, 76-9 tackling, and a 76-3 coverage grade.
Let's
Not
go.
too shabby. We'll take that for a Packer debut.
Absolutely.
And keep in mind, the Vikings aren't like this strong team, right? But they were playing their starters. So
Oh yeah. You're going against Justin Jefferson. You're going against who was Ty Felton, right? Out of Maryland. Yep. He's speedy. He's got that double move, and you got some good coverage there.
And that's why I kind of hold back a little bit on Jordan Morgan because, like Coach Lynn was saying, that's his first game playing left tackle at the NFL level, right? And he's going up against starters. He's got Lasita Smith right next to him. All right. If you think that doesn't matter, go ask any other offensive lineman that's played the game at the NFL level, at any level really. If you've got a backup playing beside you on the offensive line, you're getting a little bit more antsy. You don't know if they're going to help you when they're supposed to help. You don't know if you need to maybe kick down on your fan out a little bit more and help him inside. All those things matter. So that's why I'm holding back a little judgment. I was just, like I said, I want to go watch the end zone cam and actually really key in on Jordan Morgan every single rep and see how many positives, how many negatives. And if he looks more comfortable there than he does on the right side, I'd really like to kind of, take a little bit bigger look at it, I guess you could say. But any other grades you want to hit on there, Amelia? I know you hit on Diggs, and I agree with what Chris said. I'm happy Diggs is a Packer. I'm excited to see what he does in the playoffs. But.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Halfley was saying in his presser, I need to be able to get him out there to see what he can do. He's the first time he's seen him sort of in person like that, up close, and let's see how well he does out there with this defense. See how he understands it. Besides that, on defense, McDuffie graded out as the highest so far, 78-4, 26 total snaps. Then it was Trevon. Then it was Bull at 71-3, Evan at 69 flat, and a Baron Sorrell at 66-4. So really, I'm happy about Sorrell. He was really putting in the grind out there. And I
think he flashed the most probably.
Yeah, Tim, doesn't he look like a machine?
He does.
And smart on some of those where you're running away from him. He cuts down the angle. He chops it down. He doesn't over pursue all those different things. Able to slide down the line, make the tackle.
Yeah, does not panic in the trenches at all when he's in the middle of the fray.
Yeah, picked up that fumble recovery. Brosmer thought it was college rules. You hit the ground. Oh, we're still playing, bud. You got to get touched.
I seen Colin Oliver with the pressure too, where he flushed J.J. McCarthy right. J.J. McCarthy thought, I can outrun him, and he actually ran him down, clipped his leg, caused him to throw off platform, and it was an incomplete pass. So that was a pressure leading to an incomplete by Colin Oliver. Do you got any numbers on him?
Yes, sir. 10th on overall grades, 31 snaps. He had a 57-9 overall. Run defense, 46-7. Tackling, 27-5. That's where he's getting cut down. Pass rush is a 58-4. And then his coverage grade is 75-7. Dropped in one time in coverage. And that's where you get that kind of tweener guy where he was maybe a little stacked, a little outside, and have that ability to drop him.
I want to say I saw a Joker 1 look with him today. Didn't they play him?
Nice.
They moved him once over there from the edge, I believe. We'll have to check the all-22, but
baby Micah, baby.
Yeah, baby Micah. You got to see some of that versatility, but I'm sure Matt didn't want to put too much of anything on tape either side of the ball today.
Yeah,
but I thought he looked good.
Yeah, definitely. Tatted like a fool. This is Jacob's Burner here with the super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Diggs reminds me of when we got Charles Woodson. I'm going to explain something real quick here. I had basically this post right here, this super chat. I had this typed out in a tweet earlier today, and I didn't have enough hair on my ass to hit send. I deleted it because Charles Woodson is a first ballot Hall of Famer, absolute, a generational talent. I think we would all agree, right? So when you throw that out there, it makes, what are you talking about?
Right.
I had the same feeling when I seen Diggs out there and the way he was moving it. I'm going, this guy does not look like he should be out there on the field right now with the backups. You know what I mean? Like you could tell. I think he's going to be probably our best corner once he gets the scheme down. Now, will he be here next year at the tune of $15 million? Will they adjust it or will they just, move on? I don't know. But I got kind of the same feeling there. Tatted like a fool had the Weibos to say it. I did not on X. But how do y'all feel about that comment there? Does it kind of feel like a little bit of – remember when we signed – because here's to Tatted like a fool's defense. When we signed Charles Woodson, there was nobody going, whoa, we got Woodson. Because this was Woodson who basically got ran out of Oakland, right? He got ran out of the Raiders organization, sleeping in meetings, didn't play hard.
Yep. And he sure as hell didn't want to come here at first.
Did not want to be here. Got into it with Coach McCarthy. One of the first practices, McCarthy had to kick him off the practice field. Like, that was, a different Woodson than what he ended up being, obviously, with the Defensive Player of the Year and eventually a Hall of Famer as well. But how do y'all feel about that comment?
That's what we were talking about on the pregame, right? You get a guy that gets a change of scenery and you get a resurgence in your career. You get better output from the player. It's more inspired play from your guy. So in that respect, I can see the similarities. I'm not going to put Diggs and Woodson in the same category until we see how this playoff run goes and how things look in the long term. But I definitely get that vibe, right? Because at first it's kind of an under the radar thing. It's like, oh, we got him off waivers. Clearly he didn't want to be down in Jerry World anymore. We're banged up. We need some depth at corner. Why not? Well, today we got a pretty good debut from him. And if he puts another performance like this together against Chicago, or Philly next week, we can start having these conversations about that type of impact, especially if we end up going on a run. you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And just being able to lean on somebody like that, Tim, got a little bit of experience. He knows Micah. They were boys. Essay was talking about how much of boys they were, and he was the first time we were talking yesterday. Hey, why you keep taking all our guys? And I'm just happy that we're giving him a shot. Right,
we're gonna get Kenny Clark back next. That's
could you imagine? I'm telling you. So, but that's it, man. You just got to give him a shot, give him a chance out there. If it doesn't work out, all right, fine. What, 500,000? I mean, that's nothing, right?
Low risk, high reward potential.
Absolutely. And you have to have. Sometimes Clay talked about it all the time. Sometimes you just need a little bit of veteran in there just to help you out. What's it gonna hurt having 4 more years of experience back there? He can bounce something off half his, and just get an idea and all that. So not mad at that.
Especially when you're the youngest team in the league, right? Doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
Professor Cake says, I'm calling it now. Diggs, pick 6 next week. How awesome would that be, dude?
Let's go.
Like Al Harris just taking it to man.
That would be unfreaking believable. Mike with a super chat. Thank you so much, Mike. He said, there is no way, in my opinion, he leaves Micah. He will sign to stay. Mindset is huge. That's the vibe I got, too, when he was talking to the media the other day, because I do think the Packers are going to try to restructure that a bit and lower that cap number a touch. I think that I could see them going to him and being like, okay, let's try to shave $3 million off the bottom line, maybe $5 million off the bottom line, and we'll give you a $4 million signing bonus, like guarantee, write a check right there, bang. That's more guaranteed money for him than he had, because all the guaranteed money is already up. It's already in his pocket, and that cap charge, that dead cap charge, that stuck with Dallas. Mm-hmm. I could see him going that route. And if that's the case with him going, okay, I'm going to make $3 million less this year, but they're going to write me a check now and I get to stay and play with Micah. I agree with what Mike says here, Tim, that I think he probably would take a deal like that. Something to that effect.
I think so too. I do. And plus, he can always call his boy Micah. Micah's got the bag. If he's a milli short or something, maybe he'll spot him a few Benjamins, hold him over. But I think you're right. A little bit of a restructure to make it make more sense for the team. And then, Diggs is in a position where, he knows he's going to be on a competitive roster and have a chance to go, compete for a championship and at least be a playoff team and have a nice, middle to ending part of his career. There could be a role for him long term. And, there's every opportunity here for the Packers and him to kind of just meet in the middle and make this make sense. But I think Mike's spot on here. There's a reason that he clicked, like you said, from day one since he got here, much like Micah did when he first arrived. So now you've got that chemistry. He's got some familiar faces, not just, relationship with Micah, but, his relationship with Coach Ansley,
mm-hmm.
On our staff. So a lot of reasons why I think you're right. I don't think he's going to make it real difficult on the Packers when it comes to negotiating that.
Dude, and Tim, to the relationship, he was college teammates with X at Alabama in 2017 through 19, right? You run that red Tampa 2, all those different things that Saban was kind of working, and you get that little connection back. Hey, and you already have the feeling, all right, I look over at X, he gives me one signal that we did back. It'd be like Rodgers when he goes, he gives him one look, tugs on the jersey, and there you already know, right? So
if
we can get that happening on defense. I love that. And why would it hurt if we get, a guy that has those kind of skills, those kind of ball skills?
It's a great point.
Jaco says, I'll say a 2-year, $13.5 million. So here's the deal with I actually did a Patreon article over in our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. This is his current contract structure. Diggs is okay. So if it's hard for you guys to see, I'll go ahead and lay it out there for you to kind of explain, especially for those on the pod. So this year, he only counts for $470,000 for the Packers cap. Okay. Next year, that cap hit will jump to $15.5 million, but there is no dead cap attached. So when you say 2 years, $13.5 million, if you're saying guaranteed, maybe that's what you meant there. Okay, let's say that they'll guarantee $13.5 million over the next 2 to get him to, he's under contract. So it really comes down to, do you want a $15.5 million cap hit or not, right? And to me, I mean, if he's going to play like our best corner, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that cap charge next year. I am. I just think that the Packers will look for a way, like we show here, $14.5 million is base salary. You're probably going to look to convert some of that so you can kick that cap charge down the road a little bit, maybe pile it on to 2028 and then reset by the time you get there, because that will be the end of that 3-year window that we talked about. So you're going to kind of look at Jordan Love and everybody after 3 years and go, okay, let's reassess. Are we where we want to be? Did we win a championship? Are we right on the doorstep of winning a championship? Or, man, this went really, really bad. We need to kind of reset,
Right. Yeah. Number one corner money. We got away with it paying Key six a year, something like that. And, we've been kind of living off that for a minute. And then you get, all right, Ja was 19 or something a year. So 15 wouldn't be terrible, but I think you're right. Let's, maybe some of that to signing bonus, move it around a little bit. Around 10 a year, I wouldn't be mad at if we get a, maybe a little impact in playoffs and he kind of locks himself in to the future plan. I like that.
Yeah. And when you look at his overall numbers in terms of, forget the PFF grade for a second with Trevon, although today he had a good PFF grade, right, Emilio? You said it was in the 70s?
Oh, yes. Right? He was the second highest, behind.
So when you look at his passer rating when targeted, this year it was bad, right? 158.3. However, look at the rest of his career: 92, 60, 87, 9, and 81. That 9 obviously was just 2 games played. When you look at the Packers cornerbacks and their passer rating when targeted this year, Javon Bullard, 95.3. Of course, he's in the slot. So you're really comping. What you're comparing Diggs to is Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. Keyshawn Nixon's passer rating when targeted, 106.5. Carrington Valentine's 126.1. So if you took his average of 153.8, 81, 87, 60, 92, you'd say it's probably in the 80s is what he averages out to his career. That would make him the best passer rating when targeted on our entire team in terms of outside corners. So that would kind of establish him as probably the best corner we've got. Now, if he continues to play at the 158.3, that's a different ballgame. That's Cheeks, and that's how he's played this year, right? So
I hope it looks more like he did today. I hope he continues to build on that type of performance, because I feel like we don't necessarily need Trevon Diggs to be this stud star corner. We just need a guy out there that we can, like you said, his veteran presence. He's dependable. Yeah. He's going to be in the spot he needs to be in. He's not going to freelance in man coverage. He's going to play the right leverage, things like that, being able to communicate. I'm okay with it, man. I hope he continues to build on this performance, because he looked good today for sure.
Right. And just to that, Doug was saying there, Tim, the league's moving away from big money shutdown corners that are mostly valuable in man. If you play mostly zone, what's a good shutdown corner? Yeah. It's just that kind of look. It's not Revis Island anymore, right? It's not where we're just shutting down one side of the field. You got a lot of motion. You got a lot of shifts. The wide receivers aren't just staying on one side. There's so much more to it. I would be completely happy with that. And I think, if we need to put them in man, fine. We can maybe do a little half zone, half man if you want to do one of those looks here and there. But I'm totally fine with him dropping in cover 3, cover 4, playing the ball, coming downhill. He had a good tackling grade here. He had a 76.9 on the tackles just in that game. So, and that was the other thing Haffy was saying. All these guys coming in here, all the guys that didn't play a lot, when was the last time they actually had a tackle drill? Preseason? Right. It's we're thumps from then on, uppers, and that's it. Yep. So you got to really, make sure you're making contact and drive through.
And again, just keep in mind that Trevon Diggs was, by the consensus big board, ranked 30th in the draft the year he came out. And you'll notice there's some Cheeks corners in this draft. Jeffrey Okudah, bust. CJ Henderson, bust. Christian Fulton, bust. AJ Terrell, bust. Trevon Diggs got a second contract, pretty good payday. He's still in the league, and what we think will probably be our number 1 corner as the roster sits here on January the 4th, 2026. Jeff Gladney, bust. Jalen Johnson, solid pick there for the Bears. I think we would all agree. Even better person, too, by the way. Noah from Auburn, I'm pretty sure he was a bust. Don't know where he's at in the league. And then Damon Arnett, I'm not sure if he's still in the league as well. So when you look at those corners, the Packers went and got the best cornerback. Well, probably the second best cornerback, depending on what year you want to count, because Jalen Johnson did lead the league in interceptions one year as well. He got one of the top 2 corners in that draft that year for nothing, right? Didn't have to give a pick for him. So Goody down there pulling Emilio, hitting the thrift shops. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, Clay, you don't want to get in front of me in recruiting, man. I'm telling you. I'm spinning it back there. But you go to the consensus big board, go to safeties, I'm sure you'll see X right up there too. You're looking back on it. We got 2 or 3 top 32 players from that draft. That's crazy.
Yeah. And we actually had talked about the other day, you went out, and I don't know how long he'll be here. He may be cut before this thing is actually live as a podcast. But you went and got Desmond Ridder, right? And we done a little bit of an article on him as well. You could tell what Goody's doing. He's kind of getting an early shot an early jump on the offseason, signing some of these players, you know. And when it comes to Desmond Ridder, people go, oh, he's a bust. He's a bust. I get that. I understand. He's not played well at the NFL level, but they said the same thing about Malik Willis. Well, when they added Desmond Ridder, as you'll notice here, look where he was at. You go back to the 2022 draft class, Goody now has on his roster the top quarterback in that draft, according to the consensus big board, with Malik Willis at number 10, and then the third best quarterback at Desmond Ridder, both on the roster. It's just wild. It's wild to think.
What a quarterback class that was. Malik, Kenny Pickett, double gloves, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Carson Strong, like Bailey Zappi, the only dude that can spin it. He had the college football history for passing yards. I mean, that's just unbelievable, but you just don't see any of them anymore. And we have two of them. One of them we've turned into, a great player, Malik.
Yep. And Jack Cohn there from Notre Dame. No, I remember people were talking about him in the draft process. I went, you don't want to do that. I watched him.
Who?
Exactly right. I wish I could say who, but I don't think he's in the league anymore. But as Coach Lynn says here, get Ridder in our system and see what happens. Daryl says Ridder has potential. So, yeah, I agree. I think that it's going to give him his best shot. Will he work out? I don't know. Like I said, he may be cut before we hit the playoffs. But if Malik Willis does walk in free agency, what it tells me is they probably had a similar grade on Desmond Ridder that they did Malik Willis in that draft. And that tells you, okay, throw him on the practice squad unless somebody poaches him and work him in. And maybe that could be Jordan Love's backup next year. Maybe Malik Willis gets paid this offseason, and you get another comp pick for that. And you're starting to allocate some resources going into draft season, which, Did he really?
What'd you think of Tune, Clay? Coach over here said Clayton Tune looked solid to me today.
I mean, when he wasn't getting picked up off the turf.
That's the hard part, right? I disagree with Coach. I didn't see anything with Tune, and Coach knows this way better than me. He's evaluated talent way more than me. Obviously, being a coach, I have zero coaching history. When I watched him, I wasn't impressed. But to what Tim said, very true. It's like, did he really have a shot today? I seen people dogging him over that pass, that flat pass or RPO, whatever it was, that kind of looked like it went backwards. The ball got tipped at the line. They're failing to mention that, right? It's like he never really had a shot, I don't think. So
and I have Tune here, second lowest, just above Wiley, but 51 snaps. He had a 44 flat overall grade. He had a 32.5 passing grade and a 70 run grade. So.
And what Coach Lynn was saying was like talking about him scrambling. He did show good ability scrambling with the ball for sure. Yeah. Mike with the super chat. Who do you truly want next week? The Bears D. Our offense needs to cook lightning in a bottle. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter who we play, in my opinion. You're going to have to play the best team if you're going to run anyway, right? That's how I always look at the play. I never look at it, not that Mike is, but I never look at it like, man, I hope we get a bad team early so we can get a win, To me, it's like, all right, you're
in the do that when you're the 7th seed.
Yeah, just go in there and just try to smack anybody in the mouth. Go find the biggest person in the room and sucker punch the hell out of them.
How did we do that against Dallas, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, good point. Feels like it was a lifetime ago, don't it?
But Mike, to your point, man,
get ready to go.
Yeah, we want to see this look all day long next week right here.
And I'm keeping eyes on this game. It just kicked off. There's 12 minutes left here in the first quarter. Lions have the football. Again, if you're wondering what's on the line here, I got to put this up. I could just read it off, but, man, this BJ Raji picture just makes me so happy, man. Look at this guy right here. You kidding me? Looking like me.
Play after Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, right?
Oh, no. That's
after
me.
A second helping of pie, right?
That's me getting in the swimming pool on July 17th. I don't know what y'all talking about. So, playoff game in Chicago. So Packers wildcard road trip. It'll either be Chicago or Philly. Okay. So if the Bears lose, but the Eagles win, we're off the Philly. If the Bears win, we head to Chicago. So just the Bears win gets us into Chicago next week. If the Bears lose and the Eagles lose, we still go to Chicago. So essentially we need the Eagles to lose today, but they're playing the Commanders, and I can't imagine the Commanders are going to go out there and really try to put their best effort forward. They're wanting a better draft pick, right? So I think the Eagles probably win their game. I'm hoping the Bears beat the Lions because I want the Bears in the first round, not because I think they're the worst team. I think, although we would all probably agree they are not as good of a team as the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe you guys disagree there. But I just want to go in there the first round and smack Chicago in the mouth because they have ran that mouth all year long. And I do think we match up really well against them. It'd just be fun to end Chicago's season in the playoffs.
I agree. I'm with you. And I think you could give the edge maybe to Philly right now as being the better team. But, we can't front. The Bears have been on a heater. And, it is what it is. So I'm with you, Clay, though. I think it would be huge just – in the moral category of things for a team like ours that is on a 4-game losing streak heading into the playoffs banged up. It would be awesome to go into enemy territory against your division rival and bounce them out of the playoffs. That would do huge numbers for, guys' morale in that locker room, and would really that's the kind of win you would need to spark a run if you're banged up in the postseason, right? You go down there and beat, a tough divisional opponent on their own turf. That would be huge for this young team, I think.
Tim, we'd be clipping it like that Cobb touchdown, man.
Yes, sir.
That's it. I mean, and just the way that, the Bears fans are, for them to take an L in Soldier Field in the playoffs to the Packers.
Love it.
Sign me up.
Definitely. All right, so just keeping an eye on it here. I can get it on the full screen. So the Lions are marching right now. They're down to the 21-yard line, looking at about a 3rd and 3. What do you got, Amelia? What's wrong with you?
You saw that video, right, Clay? That pic reminds me of the big boy grilling on the roof MVS posted. Remember that? Grilling? Yes. Dancing. Oh, man.
Him and Kenny Clark going back and forth on social media. That was hilarious.
My favorite, though, was what was the picture he showed of Kenny Clark? Kenny Clark posted a picture of, was it CJ from the original Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Oh my!
Did MVS look like him, bro? Dude. They had the best rivalry going back and forth, man. So much fun.
I love those kind of roasts, man. Like casual, but just like a nice zinger. That you need that. You need that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, the way that guy was dancing too, and didn't he just had the bibs on but no shirt underneath.
Yeah,
right?
But the bib barely. It was an extra small bib.
Yeah,
there was some
hanging on. It was hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, there was some movement, man. So, yeah. God, I love the show, man. I hate it, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? The Lions are down inside the red zone now. They're moving the ball pretty well. Looks like the Commanders have the ball at about their own 15-yard line, roughly. It's 1st and 10. I don't know who is their quarterback now with our boy out. I'm trying to think, is it Washington or Johnson or something like that's his name? But swing pass, little lead swing outside, and the Commanders pick up a first down. Come on, Commanders, let's go.
Not Mariota. I thought Mariota was there.
Well, he's not playing though. Here lately they've been playing this other cat. I don't know. It says Johnson, whoever that is. So Josh Johnson is his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Last week he had a career high against Ear Muffet here. SA 8.6 yards per pass attempt last week against Dallas, career high. So Dallas's defense continues to get worse without Micah, obviously, and now without Trevon Diggs. So that's a good question. Joe says, isn't Philly resting everyone? I hope they are, but I think they have a chance to improve their seeding too, Joe. I'm not sure, though, if you guys want to fact check that for us. I greatly appreciate that. So let's see here. Is there anything else you guys want to hit in terms of the Packers-Vikings game, or do y'all want to just kind of keep this conversation going?
Well, it's over with. We got that going for us.
Why don't we run through the box score real quick? This is going to be very, very, very uneventful, but let's do it anyway. So like we said, Clayton Tune, 6 of 11 for 34 yards, although the sacks were the reason I didn't think he had a good game. Like taking those sacks, especially when it knocked you out of field goal range early, is like you just can't do that. I don't care if you're playing all the backups or not. That's something that's supposed to be ingrained into who you are as a quarterback, that you never take a third down sack that pushes you out of field goal range, right? That's just a big no-no there. But nonetheless, J.J. McCarthy, 14 of 23 for 182 yards passing. To me, he looked bad, boys. I don't know about y'all. And he just acts so weird, too. Like, when he got that first down and he got up and got called for taunting, and the official grabbed him like, hey, get back to your huddle, and he acted like the official was assaulting him. Did you see him? He was like shaking and falling away. I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? He's really strange like that. tries
that official might have saved his life. You know, I don't think another 2 or 3 seconds of that, Keyshawn wasn't going to tolerate that. We already know that.
Yeah.
Doesn't have that big Michigan O-line protecting him, Clay.
Yep.
And that running game too, right? Yeah.
Coach Len hits it on the head. JJ McCarthy is cringe.
I'm telling you, it's just something that's, you guys know what I'm talking about. Y'all have got one, and everybody's friends group's got one, right? They're always welcome to all events, but man, at least 2 or 3 times at said event, you're like, all right, man, just shut up, dude. You really, I don't think you realize just how low your social IQ is. So, yeah, Stephanie in the chat says JJ McCarthy's a goober. When do quarterbacks taunt? Yeah. Exactly, right? And that's what the announcers were talking about too. So, running the ball, Chris Brooks, 13 carries for 61 yards. Emmanuel Wilson, 18 carries for 44 yards. I love E-Will, but that minus 19-yard run was just,
Lord.
You can't do that. Just can't do it, man.
I was waiting for him to just give himself up and just fall down and take the 5-yard loss, not the 17-yard loss.
I thought that was a kick return. Honestly, I walked away. I came around the corner and I looked and I was like, 2nd and 30. What just happened?
I think he thought he was going to be able to switch the field once he realized that play was absolutely blown up and he was knocked back. I think he was thinking maybe I can cut it back, and then all hell broke loose back there.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Lynn said he is not good enough to act the way he does.
Oh, right? McCarthy, right?
Yeah. No, E. Wilson, dog. JJ, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's talking about McCarthy. Yeah,
E. Wilson, dog. JJ McCarthy, puppy.
The old saying, be who you can afford to be, right? Like some people can get away with acting like that. But yeah. Sushi Bagel in the house says, but was he really playing against true NFL caliber quarterbacks today? I don't know if he's talking about there. Were we talking about a specific defensive player maybe? Or regardless, it holds true on either side of the ball, no matter which team you're talking about, right? There wasn't really an NFL caliber quarterback playing in that game, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it was a tough watch, man. I ain't gonna lie. There was a couple times I was sitting there like I found myself just scrolling on my phone, and that never.
Well, I mean, they were saying McCarthy had a fracture in his throwing hand, right? He was dealing with, that must have been from patting himself on the back too much, and he got a fracture. So that might explain some of the poor throws today.
Yeah, United Bates says JJ practiced all week in the mirror.
Yeah, I want that picture to come back out where he's got the one in the locker room and then they put Caleb's face over him. Oh my God, those are unbelievable.
Every quarterback who's played bad at some point this year has had their face transposed onto JJ McCarthy's body at some point, which is absolutely hilarious. So, oh man. Running the ball, like we said, Clayton Tune, there's the 4 scrambles that Coach Lim was talking about, 4 for 23, right? Pretty good there on the ground in terms of just making things happen with your legs. Jordan Mason, I kind of talked about this in the pregame show. I didn't think they would miss Aaron Jones. Jordan Mason, I feel like, is a better running back than Aaron, at least today at their points in their career. Jordan Mason, 14 carries for 94 yards. Ty Chandler, 10 for 23. Nothing really to talk about too much there. JJ had a pretty good day there. Justin Jefferson, 8 catches, 101 yards. No surprise, right? Did he get any catches on Trevon Diggs? I don't remember him having a catch on Trevon. It just seemed like he was always on the opposite side of the field. But
yeah, I don't think we saw them lined up more than once or twice maybe together.
Right. And we probably wasn't just playing straight man coverage. I imagine we were playing some pretty vanilla spot and drop most of the day.
I feel like we didn't see very, very much man at all today. Very little to no man looks.
Yeah. And I know many people wanted to see Matthew Golden play, and I get it and everything, but on the day he was targeted 3 times, had 1 catch for 8 yards. And again, it didn't feel like you were truly – I didn't see – and I'm sure they were there just at a minute amount. I didn't see any dagger concepts right off the bat. I don't remember seeing any slot crosses. I don't remember seeing any wolf. To me, it felt very spacing-based, like, hey, let's try to run the ball. If they take the run away, we'll just dink and dunk it underneath. Okay, immediate pressure, roll out. Now it becomes a scramble drill. So that's why I don't – even the receiving stats here, I don't put a whole lot of stock in. But Matthew Golden, 3 targets, 1 catch for 8 yards. So, again, hopefully he can put it together. Hopefully he gets more opportunities as well. But you gotta get down. You gotta hammer down that choice aspect of the offense before that happens for sure. So, defensively, Jamin Johnson was the linebacker we were kind of talking about in the pregame. So we were right there, Tim. The 3 linebackers ended up being Tyron Hopper, Isaiah McDuffie, and Jamin Johnson. Do we have anything on Hopper, Emilio? You may have pointed that out earlier. I apologize.
Yeah. No, you're good. I don't think I said it. I tried to avoid it for a second there, but Mr. Hopper, no, I think I did. Second from the bottom, 67 total snaps. He had a 43-8 overall, 45-4 run defense, 29-7 tackling. That's really what brought him down bad. Pass rush, 54-5, coverage, 52-4. I'm not mad at him. He had 2 total pressures, 2 hurries, it looks like. But I'm glad Hopper got some burn, really. We just need to get him out there. 3rd-round pick, you got to see what he's got. You got to get him chances, and it's not like he gets him out there when Quay and Cooper are out there because McDuffie's that third backer to come in anyway. So just good to get him out there, get some reps, learn from it. Good tape watch stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And Coach Lynn says, was Stenovich calling plays today? I'm not sure who was calling the plays, Coach. I do know this. There was a couple times that they showed the camera on Matt LaFleur, and just reading his body language and his facial expressions, and he kind of he looked at the field, walked away. It was like he wasn't as animated as he usually is. To me, it looked like a man that was like, oh, I wish we could just turn this thing loose and cut their ass up. But it's not what's best for the team.
I wonder if we were like really like 50-60% scripted, like going into this game. Normally you might script your first 10 or 20 plays maybe or whatever.
Right.
I mean, they must have been working with a limited call sheet, like you said, just to try and keep guys safe. And, when you've got all these backups and practice squad guys out there, your job as a coach is to give them a chance to succeed. And if they don't have a full grasp of the complexities of your offense, you definitely don't want to, start calling play action, naked boot bombs down the field when you can't trust that A, the protection's going to hold up, and B, that your receiver is even going to run the correct route. So it's just a tough spot to be in as a head coach, It
did look like his play sheet was a little bit thinner. He had the folded one. Normally he's got the tall rectangle sheet one. He got the one that folds up 3 times. So probably preseason offense there.
Like Emilio in college football, just switch right over to the favorites page, right? Don't even go through the play.
Yeah, I got a nice TCU air raid offense. I'm telling you.
3 plays. 3 plays you run, don't you?
5 wide streaks. Let's go.
4 verts.
Yeah, that's it.
His opponents always say, once you run that other play. So
hey, you can hit the number 2 against cover 3 if that
he's either running 4 verts or he's calling drop plays. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Oh man. Detroit is leading 3-0 over the Chicago Bears with 7 minutes to go. And the Commanders and the Eagles are tied 0-0. Again, in order for us to play the Bears in the first round in Chicago, we need the Eagles to lose or the Bears to win is what we need to have. So
we just need the Lions to hold Caleb under 270 passing so he doesn't clear 4,000 for the year.
Oh, that would be unbelievable if they still didn't get a 4,000-yard rusher.
Yep. No, because they can't be adding on the playoffs and like, oh, now we have 4,000. It's like, dude, come on, you get 2 extra games, you still can't do it. We got a black and white photo the last time it's never happened.
Love it. All right, and the Commanders are rolling here. They're down to the 5-yard line, looking at a 2nd and 5 from about the 6-yard, or 2nd and 4 from the 5, I think it is. Yeah, 2nd and 4 from the 5. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. So Jamin Johnson, what did he look like on PFF? I mean, not that it really matters.
He's 48, right?
Yes, sir. Number 48.
I have him as a number 11, just behind Colin Oliver. 67 snaps. He was in for every one of them. 54-6 defensive grade total. Run defense of a 78-9. Tackling 69-4. Pass rush 51-4. His coverage grade was what hurt him. 40.5. And it was like, I remember seeing it on the that one dig route where it was maybe 13, 14 yards deep. He was dropping into coverage and just kind of shuffled towards the sideline a little bit, opened up that inner dig lane right there by in between the numbers and the hash. But besides that, not terrible.
That's how I felt. I felt like I was seeing like really good things from 48, and then you'd see a play where it's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
We even saw that on one of the pass rush reps. He got engaged and just did not get off the blocker quick enough, and ball carrier streaks right past you for another 12-yard gain.
Yep.
But then he would put great plays together too. So I think that's another guy who maybe flashed a little bit today. Another glimmer of positive hope here during this tough time to be a Packer fan, right?
They do have him as one hurry, Tim, for the pressure. You know who was tearing it up, and Jacob would be super excited? Mr. Brenton Cox, 6 total pressures, 1 sack, 2 hits, 3 hurries.
Yeah.
He was
having a great job of setting the edge today, man.
Yes. A heady game, right, Tim? Very heady game from Mr. Cox.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what they said on the telecast, by the way. They said, what a heady play by Cox. And I went, I'm not even going to say anything.
And Clay went, let's clip that for the pod.
And then my phone went, brrr, and I looked down and Emilio had topped it out. Unbelievable, man. We heard the same thing there. So, Baron Sorrell, though, man, 8 total tackles, 5 solo, a sack, and a tackle for a loss, and a fumble recovery. I'm feeling pretty good about where Baron Sorrell is as a rookie campaign, because this isn't just this game. We've seen it throughout the year. When he's on the field, it doesn't look like it's too big for him, right? He looks like he belongs. I don't know what his PFF grade was, Emilio. I think you said it earlier. What was it again?
He was 5th. He had a 66-4, 52 total snaps, 3 total pressures, 1 sack, 2 hits, or 2 hurries, sorry.
Got it. So when you model the roster out, I think there's a realistic chance that Rashawn Gary isn't on this team next year, or you're going to get him back at a lowered cap number, right? They'll do some kind of adjustment there, I would imagine, if he does return. So now you're going to be looking at Micah Parsons on one side. Let's say that Gary isn't on the roster next year. Micah Parsons one side, LVN on the other, and it's going to be Brenton Cox Jr. and Baron Sorrell as the backups. I feel pretty good about that edge room. If you get Gary back at a lowered cap number, he still leads all of your edge defenders in run stops, and he's second in sacks, and he has the highest pressure percentage outside of Micah. So he still led the team in all those things other than Micah. I think it was like a 12.5% pressure rate. If you get him back at a lowered number, there's no reason to even look at edge unless somebody falls right in your lap in the draft, right? You're pretty well – I feel like you're pretty well set there. The focus on defense, in my opinion, needs to be 3-tech. And if Quay isn't back, as some of the reports are saying that the Packers are leaning towards moving away, if that's the case, then you need to find that next stack backer. If you don't feel confident in Hopper, if you don't feel confident in McDuffie, might want to grab that in the draft as well. Feel good about our safety room, right? So for me, if I were to prioritize on defense, and again, I'm not saying this is more important than offense, it's just strictly defense. If you were to prioritize what's the most important positions you need to attack on defense, I would think 3-tech. You still don't have your 3-tech of the future, no matter how many people believe Devontae Wyatt is that dude. He's a good football player, but it's such an important position. You need to keep trying to find that next great one. I would think 3-tech. If Quay's not back, I would go grab a stack backer and try to find the next Edgerrin Cooper. Maybe you can get him in the second round again, and then probably corner after that. So the approach I would take. But you guys got any thoughts on that, on what you should do on defense in that regard?
I just think about Colin Oliver. We talk about his versatility too, so if you feel good about going that route with the edge, maybe you do start looking at Colin Oliver playing stack backer if you're not going to go draft somebody. But I also know that we have a history of doing that with guys that are versatile, and we play them, left and right, up and down, and then they don't really excel at either position. They kind of end up being those middle of the road guys. I think you got to find a home for a young player and let them develop. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on what they're going to do with Colin Oliver, because it seemed like they used him on the edge today more often than not. I think we only saw him in the middle a couple of times.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I mean, I think you're spot on there too, Clay. Interior on defense and offense. It's where it starts every play. I think that's where we just need to go after. Looking at second round and on. Maybe some Iowa guys up front for the offensive line, and then find a couple dogs on defense that are ready to play.
And the Bears did just now punt, so the Lions have the ball back at their own 23-yard line, and they are leading the Bears 3-0 as it sits right now. And in terms of the Commander game, the Commanders and the Eagles are tied. It's Eagles ball now. I'm not sure what happened there. I was talking while that I
think he missed a field goal.
24-yard field goal. Fire Rich Bisaccia's ass into the sun. How dare he? How dare he?
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
If you guys haven't noticed, every time somebody has a special teams goof across the league, I always blame Rich Bisaccia. That seems to be the popular thing to do here in the Packers sphere. So that's crazy that he missed a chip shot like that. Because you guys remember when Moody was like one of the highly touted kickers coming out of the draft, if I remember correctly. Wasn't he actually drafted? Am I thinking right? You remember that, Emilio? Jake Moody?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he was drafted.
I want to say Michigan. Why am I thinking Michigan? Did he play at Michigan? Let me see here. Jake Moody draft pick. Jake Moody was taken 99th overall by the San Francisco 49ers out of Michigan. There you go. So they spent a top 100 pick on a guy who can't hit a 24-yarder for his third or fourth team now. So absolutely wild. All right, so let's look at some of these other scores across the league. Not that many of them matter. Obviously, the one tonight, Pittsburgh going up against Baltimore for basically what is a playoff game, essentially, right? It's a win and you're in top game for both of those teams, but we'll talk about that. That's going to be a Sunday night game of the week as the Eagles just complete a pass for 8 yards on first down. So, again, going through the league real quick, the Bills are leading the Jets 7-0. The Bears are trailing the Lions 3-0. It's Lions ball now. The Broncos are leading the Chargers 10-0. The Chiefs are beating the Raiders 3-0 in the Toilet Bowl this week. You got the Cardinals and the Rams tied at 3, and there's some seeding involved here with the Rams, if I remember correctly. So that's really, really interesting if the Cardinals can upset them. I'm almost positive the Rams aren't locked into their current seed as it sits right now. Patriots are beating the Dolphins 14-0. Man, Mike Vrabel has got that team humming up there in New England. Again, the Commanders and the Eagles are tied 0-0. And then that night game tonight will be the Ravens at the Steelers, 28 degrees in the forecast there. Maybe a slight chance of some snow flurries, but going to be rooting on Aaron Rodgers in that game. So, you guys got anything to add to any of these games we're looking at here before we dive into this Lions-Bears game?
Yeah, the Patriots. Is Vrabel pulling the old Belichick, and we're playing all the starters, and we don't care?
Probably is, Tim. I love it. He's definitely cut from the Belichick cloth. That's for sure, man.
Do they still have a chance for that first round, or?
I think so. Let me do this. Let me drop this down. Let's do this.
I thought they had to win to make sure they locked it in, or is it Denver that has to beat the Chargers to win to lock it in?
Let's see real quick. So when you look at the playoff simulator here, right? Patriots right now are the number 2 seed. Okay, so if the Patriots win that game, they can jump to the number 1 seed. That is if the Broncos lose, right? And the Broncos could fall all the way to the 3 seed because Jacksonville already won their game, which that ain't even tallied in here yet. Hold up a minute. Let me hit refresh. I had that open for a while. Let's do this. All right, now it's up to date. I apologize. So if the Patriots, to answer your question, Amelia, if the Patriots win and the Broncos lose, the Patriots will be the 1 seed.
Okay.
If the Broncos win, they hold on to the 1 seed. Is how that is.
Okay. So, and they were saying the Chargers are mostly sitting some of their guys, right? So they're jumping from either 6th to 7th seed. With
Correct.
That.
Yeah, they're either going from 7 to 6 if they win. Yeah.
So maybe the Chargers are thinking, hey, let's lose and get a shot against New England, or are we going to try to beat out Denver and have to face them again?
Right. And again, if you look at Jacksonville already won their game there. Houston, can they improve? If you look at the Texans on this side.
They won, right? So they won their game.
Yeah, you're right. That's already in the book. So they're locked in there, yeah. All right.
And Denver's playing right now, correct?
That is correct, yeah. And Denver, like we said, right now as it sits, I think Denver is winning. They're winning 10-0 over the Chargers right now.
Okay.
So that is, that's how that shakes out. And then when you look at the NFC side, obviously Seattle, they already played. They beat the Niners, right?
Yep.
So now you got the Bears. If the Bears win their game, they can do nothing to climb to the number 1 seed. However, if the Lions win that game, they drop to the 3 seed. They being the Chicago Bears would drop to the 3 seed. So the Bears have everything to play for in this game, right? Yeah. They really do. And again, the Lions are now at midfield, 2nd and 10. Goff in the gun, back to pass, throws left, completes. That's a first down to St. Brown. So they're moving the chains and driving again here. Kind of looking like, boys, we're probably going to be playing in Philly unless the Commanders can make something happen here. Again, it's early in this ball game, but how do y'all feel like the Packers match up against Philadelphia today? Because I think we would all agree this Philadelphia Eagles team is not the same Philly team that we played earlier this year, and they're damn sure not the same Philadelphia Eagles team that we played last year in the playoffs that went on to win Super Bowl.
I was at that heartbreaker Monday Night Football this year. The old 10-7.
So sad saying that.
The old 10-7 one. But it does. It makes me feel like Philly's a beatable football team. I do feel that way. Now, as far as how we match up, let's take a look at the injury report in a few days, and I'll let you know.
Yeah,
once we find out who's actually going to be out there playing, but we know that that's a harsh environment and a tough football team to beat. But again, we didn't get boat raced. We only gave up 10 points to them. I think if we play pretty well against the run and we handle business on defense, and Jay Money in that offense can get points on the board, we have a chance to win that game, even if it's by a field goal or something.
And to that, Tim, they've won three in a row against us. First game of the season last year, playoffs last year, first game of the season this year. At some point,
it is time. It is time.
Pendulum's going to swing back, man. It is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to beat a team 2 times in a row, much less 3. It's damn near impossible to beat a team 4 times in a row, unless it's the Packers against the Bears for, I don't know, 3 decades, So, J. Cole says Jalen Hurts is sitting out. I just noticed that Tanner McKee is at the helm. He's 4 of 5 for 67 yards, and he got them knocking on the doorstep here. They're about to scores there at the 18-yard line. They're going to hand off inside and pick up about 3 yards. So looking at about a 2nd and 7 at about, I don't know, the 16-yard line, something like that. So, again, man, hopefully the Commanders can pull that off, because I would love them to bounce the Bears out in the first round. That would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Thank you for that info, Jay. I didn't even look at the box score until you said that, man. So appreciate you letting us know that Hurts is sitting. It looks like I don't see any I don't see any Saquon Barkley either. So they're sitting him down as well. It looks like Tank Bigsby has gotten 3 carries for 25 yards so far. So if you guys would smash that like button for us real quick, we're going to wrap up here in a second. We just want to give you guys a little bit of action and show you what's on the line here in terms of where the Packers may be playing next week. Anything else you guys want to add to this conversation? Emil, did you have any other questions about the playoff picture there, man?
No, I think that was it. I was just trying to make sure we were squared away. We're stuck at 7. Let's just go face who we got to face, right? There's not much else to it. We're going to be on the road the rest of the year. We knew that a couple weeks ago. And, it's just, hey, let's make sure our penalties are in order. Let's make sure our silent count's in order. Let's make sure we know where we got to be on these things. Whatever we need to do offensive line-wise to make sure we're squared away. Jordan got to get if we need to be under center a little bit more just so that they can hear the call, get the snap out rather than shotgun, I'm fine with it. But let's make sure we're prepared for this.
And there's your touchdown. Eagles, Tim, 3rd and 7. They throw a touchdown pass, Tanner McKee does, to whoever number 81 is. So the Eagles are going to be leading 7-0. And Tim, when you look at this Bears game, Bears-Lions, if the Bears win, we'll get to go to Chicago and play them. I think that's what we all want, just to try to knock them out in the first round. However, the Bears lose this game, if somehow the Eagles lose, which I doubt they will, judging how this game is going early. Could you imagine us being able to go to Chicago and them coming off a 2-game losing streak, right?
Yeah.
I know we're on a 4-game losing streak, so things can get a little bit hectic there for both teams. However, ours is much different than theirs, obviously, with the 49ers beating them last week. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all about going 1-0, right? Once we wrap up today's games, playtime is over, the season's over. It's a whole new ball game. You bust your tail all year long to be one of the 7, and that's all that matters right now. So I hope the guys are just focused. And I'm with you guys. I'd prefer to get Chicago next week, but this team has got to be ready to go no matter who we face. If we got to go to Philly, so be it. A win is a win is a win. Let's get it done.
Yeah, that's what Ed Madden says here, Emilio. Thanks, guys. Hope Tom, Jacobs, and everyone is healthy next week. I think they'll all be out there, to be honest with you, man.
Yep.
I'd be very surprised if Zach Tom and Josh Jacobs aren't playing next week, or even limited in that matter. I think that they're going to lay it all out there, all hands on deck. Last game of the season, you can't hold anything back, just like Coach Klein said on the Water Boy. You know what I mean? You can't hold anything back. So, curious to casual in with the super chat says Clayton, Morgan, and Monk play today. Thoughts? I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, Chris, with Jordan Morgan. I got to go back and watch the end zone cam. I didn't feel like he was horrible, like some people were saying. And I've seen a lot of that online. And again, you got to kind of look at, he's playing next to Lasita Smith at guard. You've got Clayton Tune, brand new quarterback, practice squad caliber quarterback out there. You had all these backups in and out of the offense. I just want to focus on his one-on-one matchups. That's what I want to key in on. I don't like the penalties. As we mentioned earlier, there were some penalties, right? At least one that I know of. Might have been multiple. But I want to key in on his one-on-one matchups. What's his pass set look like on the left side? Does it look different than the right side or not? And that's just stuff I can't pick up on the TV copy, man. I'm getting old. My eyes are bad. So I know, Emilio, you kind of talked about it, though, with the PFF grade, right? You already mentioned Morgan. Do you remember what it was roughly?
Yeah.
You ain't got to be exact.
No, you're good. Morgan was sorry. We had Morgan as the fourth best with a 60.9, and Jacob Monk was second best with a 70.5. Both of them playing 51 snaps. All offensive snaps there. Not terrible. Darian Kennard had a 59-1. Basically, our right guard set. It was top 10 as right guard, center, halfback, left tackle, right tackle, left guard. Musgrave had 2 snaps. Then you had Emmanuel, Bo, and Jacoby Kinney-James. I'm just glad that I see the offensive line being up higher, even though we, had 4 sacks and stuff like that. I'd rather see that wall being built, protecting whatever quarterback's back there, whoever's back there, moving this offensive forward.
Yeah. So with Monk, I mean, that seems like pretty good news, right?
70.7 run blocking. He had a 54.2 pass blocking, but I did see him kind of grading out there. He was he was making it happen.
And it didn't seem to be any issues with snapping the ball either. I mean, some of those snaps look better than what we saw from Sean Ryan the last few weeks.
Right, Tim. And Steno was saying that in his presser that, Monk is our backup center there. You've had Lasita Smith take a few back there as well. But I'm not opposed to if Monk gets another off season. He came out of Duke. We kind of liked the way he played, the way he moved. He was a captain for a long time. So he's got that sort of mentality, that attitude. I'm for that.
I'm with you, especially if we could draft another, couple of guards as opposed to having to maybe swing for a center.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. Super appreciate you, Chris. And just going through some of the latest Packers news before we wrap up here. Tom Silverstein tweeted out 27 minutes ago, safety Javon Bullard said his knee injury was not serious and he would be fine. He said slight hyper extension. So we dodged the bullet.
Jesus. Thank you.
That's right. And I was trying to see if there's anything on our boy Bo Melton. I don't see anything initially here, just reading through some of the updates. Just a couple quotes here. Rob Domofsky tweeted out, Packers coach Matt LaFleur said last year's regular season finale against the Bears when they lost Christian Watson played a big part in how they handled today's game. Quote, I think we did the right thing today. He also said, Emilio, that if Jordan Love had to play in the game, he would not have thrown a pass, is what he said. So
I love that.
They were willing to just run the ball 3 times and punt. So, again. And Tim, we kind of talked about this. Last year they played Watson. We're raking them over the coals, right? In a game that basically didn't mean anything. And now this year they sit them, and we got fans raking them over the coals for sitting everybody.
Oh yeah,
right?
You can't make those type of people happy. They wouldn't know it if it, walked in the room and gave them a hug. They still couldn't find happiness. I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. I guess my only concern with Jordan, it's like we're going on over 2 weeks here since he's, played some meaningful snaps. You worry a little bit about a little bit of quote unquote rust or, rusty gears a little bit. But I think that install this week, they'll get him ready to go for whoever we're matching up against. And I wouldn't be surprised if he finds his rhythm early and often. Maybe we even go pass heavy in that game early just to get Jordan in some kind of rhythm and see if we can get him back to that starting form that we're used to seeing him play at. But we have to acknowledge the fact, man, it's been a while since we've seen him on the field.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
That's the other thing, too, about what you said about the install and this and that. They've now had 2 weeks to prepare, right? So what they probably did was they put together a game plan that was comprised of both the Eagles' defensive looks and offensive looks, right, on the defensive side of the ball, Eagles and the Bears, and you try to find commonalities in the two. This is the scouting department doing this, right, scouting both teams, and then you go out and you hammer the concepts, you hammer the details that's going to be within that global scheme for attacking both of those defenses. And now today you find out, all right, this is the one, turn the page and really press in to going up against that defense and going up trying to stop that offense. So that's why another perk to not treating this game very seriously today is you don't waste all that practice time game planning and trying to beat the Minnesota Vikings, right? Which is another reason why Tune looks so bad and some of the blitzes smacking him in the mouth is Brian Flores, B-Flow's defense is much, much different than other defenses.
B-Flow was running his first defense and first defensive calls against, third string off preseason offense, right? You get a couple mugs up there, you get no communication amongst the O line, but they don't, it gets crisscrossed and you get a blitzer up the middle, it's a wrap. You're not getting that thing out in 2 seconds.
You got to love what you set the protection and then the defensive line identifies it in 100th of a second. And it's like, okay, it's not going to work out well.
That's it.
Ed Madden saying Monk was good, I thought, only 6 snaps prior to today. Again, the PFF grade agreed. I didn't see anything on the TV copy that suggested he played bad. So now the question is, with Sean Ryan's contract being up, Elton Jenkins' future up in the air as well. That's when we shift to off-season needs on offense. Center's got to be right up there at the top, right? It's got to be. Yeah, I mean,
I like Sean Ryan better as a guard, at right guard or even left guard than as a center, personally.
And really fast, before we get off the O-line talk, let me just give the flowers to Anthony Belton, best graded player on PFF so far for our team. 71 flat with an 84 flat pass blocking, 65-9 run blocking. He was in for all 51 snaps.
Big Escalade. Let's go.
That's great, because he's going to be starting next year. I think he will be a starter on this line. Will
right next to Travis Glover. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a game.
Emilio said they're going to bench Zach Tom and put Travis Glover in.
See? Come on now.
Or is Zach Tom finally going to play center?
See, that's what I was kind of getting at, because I'm not saying Jacob Monk should be the starting center, right? Nobody's saying that here. And I'm not even saying that Sean Ryan won't be back. Maybe he tests the market. The Packers get him back on a bargain, and he competes for the starting center job. I don't think that's the way we should go. But if you go into the draft, and there's not been any precedent for drafting a center in the first round for the Packers, right? There's no precedent there at all. So it would suggest if they're going to go O-line, we don't have a first rounder, but if you're going to go O-line early, there is a little bit of precedent for a second round center in Elton Jenkins, although we played him at guard.
Right.
Welcome to Green Bay, right? But if you go into the second round and you draft a tackle, and you really like this guy, and you come into the camp and it's like, okay, this dude's a stud, then maybe you do kick Zach Tom to center. I think it's highly unlikely, but it is nice knowing that Zach Tom can do that, because there's not every tackle in the game can do that, right? And Emilio points out here, CJN says, after today, I'm thinking Glover is a top 6 old lineman.
Well, we know what Emilio thinks about Glover.
Come on now. I still forget that's Coldplay every time I see that.
I know it, bro. I know it. It went a life of its own. So I seen that meme again the other day, and I'm like, that's right. That did happen. It did happen. So you need to stop gassing Emilio up there, CJM.
The only other thing I wanted to say, just gassing up the pod in general, was Ty Felton, the wide receiver for the Vikings, right? He was actually in the same category as Savion Williams. Savion was a 91-1 on our board. Ty Felton was a 98-8. He was gold. He had the cheese emoji, Senior Bowl. He was a captain, and he hit the threshold. So,
out of Maryland, right?
Out of Maryland, Tim. Yep, exactly. So, a dog. I'm excited for this year's draft. We spotted him. You saw the speed out there. You see him getting by people. Would have been a perfect fit, I think, just like a Savion for this offense.
Yeah, and as CJN says here, I'm not ready for the season to end, but absolutely excited for PTA off-season prep for the draft. I don't want the season to end either, CJN, and I've caught some hell in some of the comments here lately. There are people that want us to dive into the off-season stuff already and start talking about it. It's okay to talk about it. I've gotten several messages. It's okay to talk about that. Yeah, I'm cool with talking draft, because they can tell I'm like there's another portion of the fan base that gets irate when you mention anything about the draft, anything about the offseason during the season and the playoffs. So we're trying to hold back as much as we can. But, CJ, I completely agree. I am jacked for the offseason. And most of the people that you guys see in the chat right now, probably including CJ and others, we pick those people up in the offseason. They find our channel because the large majority of the Packer podcast channels and YouTube channels, they lower their, they stop putting content out. Not stop, but they slow down. We ramp up because there's so much to talk about. Last year, all the way up till us flying into town, into Green Bay for the draft and doing a live show in Green Bay, Wisconsin, we were literally, I was still, Emilio can tell you, I'm still scrambling. Tim too. We ran out of time.
In the airport, when we saw Mel Kiper, we go, man, we got to update that. We got to update the board. Mel Kiper, what do you got, bud? What do you got for the pick, man?
We did. We were actually on the same flight in with Mel Kiper. And you know what I said, Tim? Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway? You know what I'm saying, man?
So, he was sweating up front, man. Then the reporters ran him down. Phew.
But I love the off season because we pick up people that are diehard Packer fans. That's when they're looking for content. When the diehard Packer fans are, is when all the other stuff stops. So, how many times last year, Tim, did we hear people say, "I didn't even know this channel existed"? Right. Yeah. So now we've got the algorithm cranked. right? I've been doing some studying, done some investing in terms of, trying to understand how the YouTube algorithm works. So we're getting in front of more eyeballs than we ever have. And I think you're going to see this group grow as we move forward. It's going to be
at this rate. I'm hoping we hit 10,000 by draft, right? We said 4 last time, we hit that. So
it may happen again, man. It just seems like we're up to 77-10. I think we picked up 10 subs today. So
come on now.
We're rolling. But with that being said, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit subscribe while you're in here, man. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Smash that like button. So we're about to wrap up. We got one more super chat here, and then I want to hit one of Coach Lynn's comments. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you so much. He said, I've said all year and will continue to say, when we cut 52, Sorrell is going to be starting opposite Micah next year. Kid's a player. I hope you're right, Mike, because if that does happen, here's what that means. It probably means you let LVN walk in free agency after next year, and you got Baron Sorrell on a very, very, very cheap contract. And if he's starting caliber opposite Micah, boy, do you save a lot of money on the cap for a couple of years. And you could spend that money maybe on a center in free agency, maybe on an offensive lineman in free agency that's not named Aaron Banks. But with all that being said, I really, that would be awesome. I personally think LVN is going to take another step. To me, he took a step this year, and I'm excited to see what he does in the playoffs. It's becoming more and more obvious to me, though, that Rashawn Gary, his best football is behind him, although he's still playing, I think, good football. PFF agrees, too. Like, it's when you look at the PFF grades, he's always there. I think he's grading out 70 this year, right? Like, you don't want to just dump a player like that, but you got to save some of that cap. Now, if he don't want to play on a discount next year, then you could cut him outright and free up $11 million. You got to ask yourself, is it worth it to free up $11 million to not have Gary next year? I think I'm there. I think I'm there with Gary. You guys know I'm the biggest Gary fan on the face of the planet, but there comes a time when a player, his best football is behind him. And there's been
you don't want him to be a progress stopper for your next man up either.
It's the way
you've got a lot invested in a lot of these edge guys.
Right.
It's a tough decision,
And the only thing I would push back on would be just we're going to get a little younger if we do that, right, Clay? We're every year we gotta. It's a give and take.
Yep. And the give and take aspect of that is Gary has the most run stops of any edge defender on your team this year. So you've got to remove all of those run stops. And he plays the majority. No, he doesn't. Remember, that was another knock on him, was he's kind of splitting reps with LVN, splitting reps with other guys, right? So I'm telling you, he's very effective against the run, and that's why he was voted the 80th best player in the league last year by his peers. And I don't really put a whole lot of stock into Pro Bowls, but he did make the Pro Bowl last year. But with that being said, I'm just saying, don't be surprised if that run defense takes a little bit of a hit. Although LVN, in my opinion, he looks like he's capable of doing that. So
yeah, and Mike Witt with another super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He said, and if I am a Vikings fan, I wouldn't be happy about that victory. They beat us by 10, with 13 with us playing our fifth stringers. LOL, what a joke franchise.
That's a great point, Mike. Thank you for the super. And Harrison Smith, it looked to me like he's probably done.
Ham too, right? CJ Ham, what a dog. Yeah. Fullback. Hey, that was the position back in the day, man. Fullback, you don't get a lot of love, but I'm glad he got a couple touchdowns. Everybody there, you saw it in his eyes, and just you got to still give respect, man, for all those guys, especially Harrison Smith playing 14 seasons, all with the Vikings. That's crazy impressive. You don't have that very often now.
It's true.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thank you for that super, Mike. Appreciate you. Anything else y'all want to hit on, boys? I'm going to hit refresh one last time and make sure we're not missing anything. We'll give y'all an update on these two important games.
The only other one, Tim had this one starred back a little bit. We just wanted to hit it, was Coach Len said, how are teams going to scout us in the first round? Teams have no good film on us in like 5 weeks.
It's a great point. I think that was Matt's.
By design.
That was Matt's goal, right? That's what he was looking at.
I feel like after the second loss, he was like, first or second loss, like, all right, man, maybe we dial this back. You're looking at the saturation. If it's the Bears, they have our games that we played against them, and then what? You're not getting any tape from this game and stuff like that. So I think you're spot on, Coach. We might be able to catch them a little bit.
And plus, as much as the personnel has moved around too, even since we played Chicago last. So, we're going to have, I guarantee you, a little bit of a different look when we come out against, Chicago or Philly for that matter. Two teams that we've, are very familiar with this year and last year. So I think we're poised for a good matchup either way.
And Tim, for those teams, Philly, Chicago, they it's not like they've dialed back too much. Maybe this is their only dial back game, but they've been trying to win. They've still been bringing out their offense. They've still been running their plays to try to keep that streak going to get their positioning. So we have a little bit more film on them on where they're wanting to go with it.
It's a great point.
Yeah, definitely. I was trying to look something up real quick. You guys keep talking for just 1 second. We'll wrap up. We're almost done here.
Great minds think alike, though, Coach Lynn. That's what I was thinking. You beat me to it. You know, like you wonder what we really have put on film, and especially looking at today, right? Vanilla as vanilla gets on both sides of the ball. Great job by our staff. You know.
Mm-hmm. I think so. And Bates said it perfectly here. He said he might do some ayahuasca tonight and watch A-Rod. Watch A-Rod's game in a bush out back. Let's go.
I love it.
That's hilarious, man. I want to hit this real quick. Rick, I see him. He's had several comments here in the chat talking about Gary and the run stop. He seems to think Gary is just the most run stops because he hasn't been hurt and been out there all year. When you look at the run stops here on NFL Pro, all right, we'll try to zoom in where you guys can see it. You'll notice Kingsley Enagbare had 9 less run stops than Gary. Gary only had, 24 more run D snaps than Gary than Enagbare.
Yep.
So this idea that Gary is much lower in run stops is just simply false. Believe me, I've been tracking it all year, been watching it like a hawk for sure. And again, he had 1 less run stop than Kobe Wooden, who is your touch spy one tech. His job is to stop the run. That is his sole focus as the nose tackle / shade / one tech in this majority nickel 4-2-5 look, right? And when you look at his run D snaps, he had 61 more run D snaps than Gary and only 1 more stop. Mm-hmm. So Gary has been good at stopping the run, although people will continue to try to, make it sound like he hasn't. And I don't understand that hate, man. It's mind-boggling that no matter what the situation is, people have constantly just tried to find a reason to Gary's a problem. Gary's a problem. Gary's a problem. He's a run-setting edge. He is what he's been his entire career. It's tapering off. I've got to the point with Gary where I was with Aaron Rodgers. I felt like the team was better with Aaron Rodgers on it, but there's so many people that like to hate on one specific player. I just want it to be over. Mm-hmm. I just want them to get rid of Gary, and that way nobody – now what will happen is that portion of the fan base will find someone else to pile on.
LVN, I'm sure. It'll be his fault.
It'll be someone else. So, and games don't matter. He says, but Enigbare's played as many games as Gary. Games, that's the most misleading way to tally stats. It's a per-snap basis. Yeah. When you go off games – that's like, remember when LVN came out of college, he's never started a game, and people were too lazy to actually look. Yeah, it doesn't show he started a game.
But that's how Iowa does it.
Iowa has their upperclassmen, like their seniority. They start one play, they come out, and then LVN was on the field, right? So,
which is why LVN fit in well here with the rotation that we were already accustomed to running.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And again, if people disagree with the heavy rotation at edge, I get it. I understand your frustration with that, but when you try to pile on a player because they're not getting as many snaps as a Max Crosby or a
Micah Parsons or exactly. Guys that are absolute. Yeah,
definitely. Reza in the chat says, I appreciate you guys. Very great analysis and input. Very informative. It's going to be a solid playoff run. Go Pack, go. Great year, PTA crew. Thank you so much, Reza.
Appreciate it.
I love that energy. Solid playoff run. There is no one and done. We're going to get it done, and it's on to the next, baby. Let's go.
And you truly are playing with the house's money. There's no one with
nobody thinks we're going to win a playoff game.
From the beginning of the year till right now? Yeah. Oh, house's money, absolutely. They have no idea. They don't think we got anything. They don't, they're barely believing that the Packers are in the playoffs.
And I bet you Tupac LaFleur and Shug Hafley are going to be in their bags in this matchup. I think we're going to get to see that offensive and defensive playbook unleashed, regardless of how banged up we are, right? It's win or go home time, leave it all out on the field.
Yeah, definitely. J. Cole says, Clayton, I was with you with Gary, but I can see why some fans feel that way about Gary. I get it. Again, man, they're expecting him to be a top 5, top 10 edge defender. Gary's never been that. And that's where it comes to me. It comes down to proper expectations. Like never once did I feel like Gary is up there with TJ Watt, although he had a higher pressure percentage than him a couple years, right? Same thing with like Myles Garrett. Who in their right mind would think that Rashawn Gary is on the same level as Myles Garrett?
Mm-hmm.
And to pretend like they're getting paid the same amount of money is just silly. Like Gary 3 years ago was right at $10 million cap hit. I think last year he was $11 million cap hit. Right. This year he jumped to 23, and that's why we're now having a conversation. Like, okay, it's not good enough for that cap hit now, but the guaranteed money's gone. Immediately people shift the argument to average annual value. No, that doesn't make a hill of beans. The guaranteed money determines when the out is and where the out is and the amount of snaps they played for the cap hit that's been charged, plus the dead cap that's attached, which in this case will go down each year now. If he isn't on the roster next year, it's going to be the tune of like 11 million or whatever it is. Then, that's the true number. So again, there's really no point in arguing with people over it, but I understand what you're saying, Jay. I think it's proper. It's improper expectations, I guess.
Right. For some reason, I'm kind of thinking of Gary at this point of, Preston Smith a little bit, like along those lines, not as a Darius Smith, but a little bit more Preston Smith, the holster, the side, the sidearm kind of guy. And I just think
he is
that
a G.
and wherever he is in that, in his progress, if we're going to keep him another year or two like we did with Preston and then move on, what's that going to be?
Right.
Yeah. And it's a great point too, because Preston Smith wasn't tallying up a crap ton of sacks, right? He was the run setting.
It's his job. Where he's going to be every play. He's not going to be over on the sideline or run away,
His departure was scheme related, right? That he asked for the release. He felt more comfortable, playing in the 34. We switched to a 4-3, tried to make it work.
Yep.
It was time to move on, right?
Definitely. So Eagles here, 4th and 1, throw to the end zone, incomplete, no flags. So we got Washington just got to stop. It's 7-7. They're about to enter the middle 8. There's 4:43 left in the second quarter on that game, and I already closed out the box score. Somebody said Chicago's getting dog walked right now, so it's on commercial at the moment. We'll get y'all
the Bears are dumping this game on purpose to avoid playing us next week. You heard
throw it out on social media. Everybody blast it out right now. Stephanie says, you guys are great with the analysis. I'm learning so much. I really appreciate it. And I want to tip my cap to the chat for that. I've learned a ton from you guys and gals this year.
Absolutely.
Like it's been a blast talking ball. I always love opening it up to the chat so we can kind of get your all's take and anything that we miss.
Bears are down 13-0 right now, Clay.
Nice. All right. So they're going in with zero momentum. It sounds like this is cardiac, what I call cardiac Caleb. He figures out a way at the end. You got to tip your cap. They always come roaring back at the end and somehow find themselves in the ball game. But Packer Doug says, my hope is that sometime this postseason, Rashawn Gary puts a stamp on his Green Bay career. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
As I think Coach Lynn said earlier in the chat, maybe him getting a little bit of a break here will freshen him up and he can come out and do a little bit of damage. So what if Gary does go into the playoffs and, first, wild card round gets 2 sacks? I'd be over the moon.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
So, all right. That being said, that's it. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We went a little bit long, but again, there's a lot of football on. So yeah, Lions are leading 13-0. Washington just stopped Philly, so it's 7-7. They're in the middle 8, and the Lions and the Bears are entering the middle 8 right now. There's 4:40 left in that game. So let's go watch some football. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll probably go live. What is tomorrow? Monday. Probably go live a couple of times throughout the day. You guys just kind of keep that bell icon checked, so you get notified when I do smash that go live button. I'll try to let the guys know when we go live as well. Sometimes it's pretty random, but we'll be back tomorrow. We'll give you injury updates. We'll be able to talk about the playoff matchup as it'll be set as these games wrap up and all that good stuff. So as everybody leaves, do me a big favor, hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. Tim, Emilio, appreciate you all's time. Thanks to everybody with the super chats. Josh Martin, tatted like a fool. Josh Martin's not tatted like a fool. Josh Martin with the super chat. Tatted like a fool with a super chat. Mike with a few of them. We have Mike Witt in here with a couple. We had Chris the Casual in with a super as well. Appreciate the extra support there, y'all. Make sure you check out our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We're already getting that geared up. Emilio's working on the draft board, so we're going to start throwing prospect names into the draft board, getting that database built. You guys will have links to that in the Patreon group as well, an extra added benefit.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see y'all tomorrow. This is PTA. My name's Clayton. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
Nice.
Bye, guys.